Hey guys, and welcome back to Omnifactory. On to episode number 30 now, and today we're gonna go through something, and we are going to get into something very special. Off camera, I've pretty much got everything ready to get ourselves our first Heart of a Universe. Yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it really. I ran the tier 9 micro miners. I think I used 3 off camera. One to get the universe creation data, and I also needed to get a little bit of extra neutronium as well. So if we have a look here, this is how much I have left over. So yeah. We pretty much have, well, I know that we have everything ready to get it sorted, so we're going to get our creative tank going today. Because as you can see, we've got this bad boy set up. That's 40, I think it's 42 neutronium heavy platings, 2 reactor cores, 2 reactor stabilizers, 2 warp engines, the 2 solar panels, the black hole chest 3, and the navigator. So the only part that was kind of missing off of the last episode was the neutronium heavy plating. So it's 42 actual plates, which takes 2 ingots of neutronium each. You get 64 per run of the tier 9, but you need about, I think it's about 12 to actually make the tier 9, so you get about 50 positive from it. But we shall, in fact, I just want to check one thing first. Is this still, yeah, so I'm making it into a normal pattern, the same as I've done for the tier 9. There we go, but that's that one all done, saved as a tier 10, and we should, was there, tier 10 microverse. Now it's not going to save anything, it's not going to complete any quest either. That's something that I'll sort off camera, but I can pop that back in as well. Essentially this gives us the opportunity to get to this. It uses a lot of power, so that's 4 million RF a tick, and it's 24 billion RF. But obviously at the moment we've got no problems running that. We have the draconium cables throughout the base. They do about 8 million, I think. Yeah, 8.3 million RF. So we shouldn't have any problems at all on that one. It was 8 blocks of awakened draconium and the universe creation data. So let's smash that in there. That was it. Yep, perfect. So that's going to run through. It will take a fair bit of time. I do want to go over here as well just to kind of see what's happening. So at the moment I think it'll be running through the excess power that's in the solar panels. But then we should see a drastic spike. Let's just jump outside. Yeah, so it's running through the excess power that's held in there at the moment. And in terms of this as a whole, it does mean that what I'm going to be doing in between this and the next episode will be probably getting rid of a lot of this. So this one is a prime example. We don't need epoxy resin anymore. We don't need, or at least we don't need anything to create it more specifically. We don't need anything to create glycerol or biodiesel, empowered oil, because with the creative tank itself, what we'll be able to do, we'll be able to have unlimited liquids. So this can all go, this setup here. Same as our distillation tower, we won't need it. The plan of action is to have things like the, I'm probably going to keep the distillation tower, simply because if I can run it once, I'll be able to get unlimited from it off of the back of it. So that's that side. our entire nuclear craft operation, we won't need that anymore either. We're not using it for power, and I'm literally just running this through to process it at the moment. So yeah, there won't be any need for that, because all we'll need to do is get one of each of it, which I think we should already have things like that set up. So Californium, we've got a little bit excess. Berkelium, again, we've got a little bit. Einsteinium, we can make as well. So that in itself won't be needed. This here, the whole oil rig, we won't be needing that out. I also kind of wiped out the area. Off camera, I decided to get rid of some of the buildings, if you was wondering. No particular reason, I just thought it looked a bit neater. So yeah, there's a few things like that I'm just going to be remodeling the base, I guess you could say. So there we go, draining power properly now. And yeah, it changes a lot of the things. What it will definitely mean is that we will be moving completely into a new kind of area, more or new base setup. This whole setup, realistically, not going to be needed. Probably going to keep that because we can't duplicate sugarcane, but it's not really being used for anything, and we've got a lot of it. We've got 450,000 sugarcane. We won't need the breweries. There's a lot of things that this is going to help, and the kind of idea is that I get a lot of fluid solidifiers set up, and they will all process their individual liquids into whatever form, more than likely into a compacting drawer if it's an ingot, so we can have nuggets, ingots and blocks on request really, and then set up a proper drawer system, getting everything together. That's kind of the idea, at least at this point. I'm not sure how it's going to work entirely, but we'll get around that when it comes to it. Now, with this one itself, there is 2 machines that I need to make. So to actually get the portable tank, we need a fluid extractor that can run at 100 EU per tick. So we'll currently only have a LUV one. We need to make the ZPM one. So fluid extractor, I should have made everything. There we go, so that one's all ready. And then we have a look again off to the back of this. To actually solidify this down, the mould isn't a problem, that's just a normal mould. But we also need 100,000 EU per tick fluid solidifier. So again, should have... I thought that I made everything for this. Is it in here? Hold a second. Fluid solidifier. Yeah, I thought I made it. But anyway. So, fluid extractor, fluid solidifier, we need the mould. So let's make this here. This is the one thing that I didn't make. Some steel plates. I think it was screwdriver and file, I want to say. Shouldn't take too long. There we go. Screwdriver, the way around. What was it? It was file and hammer. Okay, that's fine. Hammer. I've got a hammer. Might have stored it away. Hammer. There we go. Yeah, we'll take a steel plate, and I'm pretty sure it was in the corner with a hammer. Mold. Creative portable tank. Beautiful. Store these in here. And I think our heart should be done. It is beautiful. Heart of the universe. The gateway to our first creative set. Yeah, so this is ZPM. I'm just going to double check. Should be a ZPM line. Yes. So we can pop this over here, advanced fluid solidifier, and the extractor. Beautiful. So this is where we need to make sure that we get this done right. So with the heart, it creates enough fluid, so it creates 288 millibuckets worth of fluid. You use 144, so it creates enough to make 2 tanks. Realistically, it could make 145 millibuckets and would still be absolutely fine. But we'll get this sorted now. The idea is that we run the Heart of the Universe in here. It will take a bit of time. I think it said it was about 25 seconds, was it? Yeah, 25 seconds. And then we want to pop the creative tank in there. We've got a couple of empty tanks ready. Go. Ooh, there we go. 90%. There we go. 288 millibuckets. We'll take that. Then, firstly, what we do is we run it in there and we take it out. That was key to how this is all going to work. If you left it in there, you would accidentally make 2 creative tanks, which in itself sounds like a good thing. However, it doesn't allow you to do this. So we'll leave that on there. Grab our creative tank. Pop it down for a second. Here we go. Wait a second, what? No! No, 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 no. Have I really done that? Oh no. That's... Okay, thank you. I thought that... Yeah. Never mind. Panic over with. Anyway, the idea is to do that, like that. And then we set that in there. This will now create infinite creative portable tanks. Now we can get rid of this fluid. Very temporarily. Put that in there. Just to get rid of all of that. Yep, we are just getting rid of creative fluid. That will essentially run everything into the trash can itself. So the plan of action for this itself is we want to get a drawer. Create a frame drawer. We'll get let's get 2 upgrades, sure. Let's create another frame drawer because that just got used. And then we shall jump over to here. There we go. So then we jump back down here. Conduits. Extract always active. Draw. Insert. There we go. Pop 2 of those in there, so that'll give us 2,000 essentially creative tanks on demand. And that can store that. So that's essentially going to be constantly running, and yeah, it's beautiful. It gives us our tanks on demand. I'm going to get some storage buses and things hooked up into that, but that is probably just going to be a little bit of a temporary setup because I've got a plan for getting rid of the majority of these kind of barriers, I guess. Create a lot more open plan. setup. But yeah, we've managed to get all the way through. We've got our first creative item running, and honestly, I'm really happy that I've managed to get to that stage itself. Yeah, I think that's quite amazing, to be fair. But what that does mean is that we can now get things like the more complex fluids. So if we have a look at neutronium, this is going to be one of the key ones. So neutronium, we no longer have to run through on on the microminers. We don't have to use them. We can get neutronium fluid, which in itself means we can get gravity stars, we can get neutronium nuggets, plates, ingots. We're probably going to be just running it through into that. So yeah, this is going to be so much progression that I can get done now, because it means that I'm not having to wait. Because I'm not going to lie, to make the microminers, at times it has taken a couple of hours to produce one, and that's not an exaggeration by any means at all. One of the things that I do want to get is omnium, so motive omnium. I made one extra. Let's make that into a nugget. Should automatically go through fairly quickly, because again, omnium is something that we can get blocks, ingots, nuggets with the liquids. What do we need? What level? Fluid extractor. So you can do it at any level. That's absolutely perfect. There we go. It's taking your time. Yep, there we go. Neutronium, that's another big one. Let's grab a nugget of that. Crystal matrix, that's another kind of heavy stepping block. Our empowered thing, so I made one of each. Let's grab these, at least for what we can make, and this is just an example of some of the stuff that we'll be doing. So if we jump over here, we've got 9 tanks ready to go. That's absolutely beautiful. What we can do, we can drop that in there, grab our neutronium. We should be able to go like that. No, so it has to go into that first. So that's fine. We've got some neutronium. What I am going to do is quickly get a ton of these set up. So that's I don't want those to connect if possible. There we go. Oh. So that's that. So it's going to do that every time. How many have I got? We've got 1, 2, 3. That should be fine. So let's just turn all of those off of that. And yeah, let's start kind of bringing this through. So first two. So we now have unlimited neutronium. We now have unlimited crystal matrices. I do want to get a trash void. Go. Just whack those in there. Omnium, we'll take some of that. Emeraldic, sure. Omnium. What is that thing? I am just gonna make sure that these guys don't mess up. I could see myself doing something stupid like that. So yeah, an infinite source of neutronium. Let's whack it down here. Omnium, crystal matrix. Chuck some more tanks in. But yeah, my plan of action is I'm going to be doing this for the pretty much all of our fluids. I'll still be using the AE system to run everything through. So my plan is to use the AE system to get everything everywhere, but have the AE system be the kind of the centerfold of the whole operation still. So we can still get a lot of automation, we can still get a lot of things like that, all through the applied logistics system. But what it does mean is that instead of having to have like at the moment I'm having to manage certain fluids, we can just run everything into a trash void off of the back of it that we don't need. So there'll be a bit more filtering to be done, but we can get things done a lot quicker. So one of the kind of holding stones from me going into further power, if we have a look down here, this doesn't have any batteries having it. So if we have a look at things like the ZPN batteries, it's these guys here, the 0-point modules. Now we have one, but it's not a proper one. We have that specialist one that was automatically full. These guys take a lot of Californium, berkelium. They also use the circuitry as well, leak plating, crushed rhodochrosite. So there's a few things in here that we still can't fully automate using what we've managed to get, but it does allow us to get into a lot more stuff. So another one of the kind of holding back or stepping stones into this is the polytetrafluoroethylene. We've now got an unlimited source of that itself. I did make a bit of extra fluid for that because I knew that I had to make these two. So we've got a little bit of fluid going, but now we can have unlimited fluid, and this is going to save so much. So when I said last episode I'd used about 1 million diamonds, that was by no means an exaggeration. Now we can't actually do anything with molten diamond, unfortunately, but we can make the crystal matrices. So crystal fluid, this one here. So we can make the crystal matrix direct. It saves so much. We can even get molten nether stars. I don't know if we can. Yeah, we can't physically automate nether stars, but we use molten nether stars in something. So there we go. So we can get blocks of nether stars automated. That's absolutely perfect. But we use it also in making the superconductor wires. So draconium is something that we can automate now. So that's another massive deal, and I want to get those to kind of set up now that I think on. Let's grab some draconium. Should have got some left over, that's fine. Grab an ingot each. No. Fluid extractor. Draconium. Ah. Okay, it has to be a plate. That's a little bit weird. Let's make a plate. There we go. And that's here. Yeah, draconium. Let me get rid of this fluid. There we go. And bam! Unlimited draconium. Absolutely beautiful. I wonder if you can be weird with this one as well. Yeah. And bam! Unlimited awakened draconium. Now you can kind of see the sense of the grand level that we'll actually be able to work through. We have right there a ridiculous just wall. The wall is unreal. So where have I ended up? What it means is that I can now kind of I can literally get rid of all of this. These 3 machines are worthless at the moment. The cryogenic air distillation towers are only actually used for these 2 things. Cryogenic air distillation tower. There's 2 recipes that goes through this. We can get nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, noble gases. We now have the ability to get unlimited of all of these. Noble gases then turns into argon, neon, helium, krypton, and xenon. We now have unlimited of all of these, so yeah, they are worthless. It sounds awful to say, but they're no longer needed. And this guy here, the vacuum freezer, I'll probably kind of move that into somewhere else. This guy here is literally just being used to produce ethanol. No longer needed. We can get rid of the recipe to make the empowered seeds. It's no longer needed. These 2 entire farms are no longer needed. It does mean that a lot of our base is kind of defunct at the moment. One of the first things that I probably am going to do is upgrade this to the next tier. So we're currently running at tier 7. We have unlimited draconium now, so there's no reason for me not to run that up to the big unlimited tier 8 ball. Might as well. It's things like that. It's given us a lot of creative freedom to be able to get this run through. The majority, it's harsh to say, but the majority of the micro miners are not needed. So if we have a look at the tier 10 micro miner, let me just look through these. So the large microburst projector, there's 7 recipes that come through this. All of this stuff isn't really needed. We can get quantumize real easy because we've got unlimited radon. The quantum stars again, gravity stars, yeah, we don't need neutronium, so that guy's not needed. Chaos shards, okay, so we've reached our first thing that we do need. We can't automate chaos shards at the moment. That's fair play. There's no way of getting that. Okay, that's fine. So that one will definitely be needed. Dragon eggs again. That's something that will be needed as well. So there's a few different things that we will need, but the majority of them, amazingly, we won't. So that means that we will need the tier 7, tier 8 as well. Tier 9, however, we will still need it, but in very, very short supply. So, or at least short supply for the time being. I do know that we need the heart of the universe further down the line, so there's a few different things here and there, but what it does mean is that I can get a lot of progression done without using that. They were a large kind of time sinkhole because of how long it takes to create even one of these. Unless it's kind of the smaller ones that run through the medium and small, the large tiers from like 7 upwards, they do take a bit of time to run through, so there's a few different things on there. One of the large things that has been a big backstop is things like Enderium. Again, we can get unlimited of that. What it genuinely does mean is that a lot of our deep mob learning stuff is in itself going to be potentially defunct. So the ones that we've got producing the ingots will no longer need. There's a it's unreal. I've got like that many books. Okay, that was from there. I have run that a few times. But yeah, the entirety of our nuclear craft setup is no longer needed. So yeah, I think It's going to take a lot of work, don't get me wrong. But this is such a stepping stone, it's unreal. What it does mean is that if we have a look at the quest book, so endgame wise, I know for a fact that I've got to go through all of this again, so that's not a problem, and that's why I wasn't fussed in skipping through making 4 of these, because making 4 of these now shouldn't be very hard at all. We need the chaos shards, and that is it. Everything else, we've now got the ability to get unlimited of. We have that, we have Omnium, that's not a problem. The hard part is the chaos shards, so these guys here, dilithium crystals, we still need to get to a stage where we can automate that, but we can get these through the microminers. So there's a few different ways that I'm going to be able to automate this completely, and I've got a few things in mind for doing so. It's just going to need a bit of setup, but this guy here, that's a pointless setup. This one here, another pointless setup. We still need that one. This entire row is almost pointless. This entire row is. So it gives us a lot of freedom to get rid of a lot of the older machinery. The chemical reactors, realistically, I might only need 1 or 2 of those in the entirety of the base. That's the stage that we're at. Just by making that one item in itself. Get rid of that. So yeah, I think in terms of this episode, I know it has been quite a short one, but I am going to pretty much leave it there because I want to get on. I want to be able to get on with automating this. We're already up to half a stack of creative tanks. I'm going to be moving a few different things around, so this right here is going to be the crux of our setup, the creative tanks. It does mean that we'll have to kind of move a few things around, get a better setup. My idea is to kind of use that alongside the likes of the conveyor belts, so we can move like stacks of items directly into the drawer system. So what I mean by that is, for example, if I just grab a couple of machine casings, I don't know if I got a few, just to kind of show you what I mean. So solidifier, I should have got a spare one there. Let's actually jump over here. So this is going to be a prime example. Say, have I got a solidifier? No. So say that this was right here, the solidifier. We'd have a drawer, more than likely a compacting drawer, so I'll have to get those set up. Literally sat underneath like that, with a creative fluid tank on top, and that would then feed directly into the drawer with a conveyor belt. So that's the idea I've got. How I'm going to be setting that up, I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, I've never really used this setup in a while, but we'll set it back up. But yeah, that's the idea that I've got. I'm going to be doing a lot of kind of base movements off camera, so yeah, I'm going to call that an episode right there. I know that it is only a short one, but yeah, I'm going to have to get off and get some work done on this. I've got a lot of work ahead of me, just to kind of get everything ready, get everything set up using the new creative tanks. But if you are enjoying the series and you are going to stick around for the remainder of it, do hit that subscribe button to stay tuned. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.